Hi guys, it's Shirah Benarde, the CEO and co-founder of NightCap. We are on a mission to prevent drink spiking. And today you've come to our back to school series with Ashley and Meagan, the founders of an amazing company called Safely. These two actually founded this company in college because of how unsafe that the girls felt. Now they've built an amazing brand selling safety devices to other people to protect themselves. Before we get into the episode, I want to tell you guys that Invisaware, the jewelry that calls the police and alerts your friends and family that you're in an emergency, just partnered with Safely to create the Safely Sidekick. So if I click this necklace 2 times, it will alert my friends, family, and police that I need help. Safely just put Invisaware's technology into their pepper spray. So if you go on either of their websites, you can grab a Safely Sidekick. This is the best product I have ever seen, truly. It is remarkable. It is going to change the world. And this is something so simple that you can take with you on your college campus this semester. Enjoy.
What do you think that college students are typically not aware of when going off to college?
I think one thing we're all aware of is having this fear, but sometimes it feels daunting, like we can't really do anything about it, but that's not true. And I think that's what a lot of students don't realize, that by having these tools and knowing how to use them, whether you have your nightcap on your drink, you're being proactive, and if you have your pepper spray, you know how to use it, you're giving yourself the best chance of being able to get away by having something that's preventative. Someone sees that and they're already identifying you as not an easy target. So just by having something, you actually might be less likely to need to use that item.
Not to scare people, but when you're aware of it and then you know.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for hopping on. I'm super excited. We're going to just get right into it, but I would love to start with how you guys founded Safely and what was the moment that all started for you?
Yeah, so Meagan and I, we actually met in a random class project at the University of Texas back in 2017, so almost 10 years ago. And at the time, we were attending UT, 2 students on our campus within about a year of each other had been murdered on campus. And when you think about it, and you think about going off to college, something like that should never, ever happen. But your safety is not always top of mind when you first start going to school because you're focused on making friends, what classes you're going to take, all of that. So when these 2 events happened on campus, we were absolutely heartbroken and everyone was fearing for their safety. Everyone's texting what you should be doing, from maybe hold your keys between your fingers, which now we know isn't the best tip, to here's my location, just anything and everything we could do all at once. And so when Meagan and I met, this was a big topic, and we decided we wanted to do a class project on safety and what could be done with that.
Yes, and I think that those events sparked us being able to talk about these kinds of things because it was very natural. There was a group of 5 of us, and we were all women, and 4 of us went on to start Safely. But it was just a moment where we're all bonding over these stories that we have that are kind of like universal truths almost for women of, I don't feel comfortable going outside past a certain time or going to the store at this time, and just different things that all women usually are saying that, yeah, me too. And guys don't think about it as much. And so it was something that we bonded over and became like a shared passion to try to do something about it. So after we graduated, when we started Safely, we started from an empowerment angle. We had stickers that just had nice messages on it to empower people. We came out with pepper sprays. Then we had practice sprays where we teach people how to use them so they can confidently use their pepper spray. And then later launched our own patented device that's called the Sidekick that combines multiple tools into one.
You guys actually taught me how to use pepper spray. So let's talk about that for a second, because something so mainstream and something that everyone thinks they know how to use, most people don't know how to use it. What is
like a good thing? People should not be out just spraying pepper spray, or hopefully not often in a situation where they need it. But It's so true that people never think about, how would I actually use this in a real situation?
Do you come across people that are typically shocked by when you're giving them a tutorial with Pinky? And also, who's Pinky? Tell us about Pinky.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have Pinky here if you want us to bring him out. We can teach
100%.
you how to use the pepper
100%.
spray.
Now we have 3 guests.
Yeah, 3 guys.
He's just across. He's across our little desk area, just staring at us like, please bring me over here.
Yay.
But I think the thing too with pepper spray is most people think, oh, it's super intuitive, it's super easy, but you have to factor in everything you might be going through in a moment where you actually need to use pepper spray, and you might be shaky, you're going to be in shock. And if you haven't practiced, it might be hard to unlock, things like that. And even in a friendly setting where we're practicing, I'd say 3 out of every 10 people we talk to have a hard time at first figuring out, oh, which way is it going to spray out? How do I unlock it? All those little things that build up seconds and seconds if you ever do really use it.
You guys go to a lot of college campuses, right, to show how to use pepper spray. What's the typical feedback that people are usually saying to you after they either use it or come across safely?
I think depending on the device, like the Sidekick, if they're holding it, they're like, oh, that was way easier than I thought. It's a lot lighter. But people are usually shocked by how far the pepper spray goes, the water, obviously, the practice spray, how direct it shoots out. And then also to the pressurized part, you actually have to apply a significant amount of pressure. I think a lot of times people are worried that they're going to accidentally set pepper spray off, and it's actually a lot harder to do that than you think. So, and I think too, for myself, it's great to see women, especially practicing using it, and they're with a smile on their face. Like obviously this is a very serious issue, but if you're in a situation where you need the real thing, but giving them a moment of positivity to associate with ever having to use it, they can do it confidently. It's really it's fun. It's fun for us to watch their reactions. And
yeah, you can see their confidence come over their faces, and they get really excited and they want to do it again, and they have that muscle memory after practicing.
That is super sweet. I feel like I had that moment, to be honest, when I think it was in Las Vegas. Yeah. I had that moment where I did it for the first time and I was like, oh my God, I can do this is easy. That's so awesome that you guys get to witness that. What do you think when you're, I guess, on campus or talking to students or talking to customers, what do you think that college students are typically not aware of when going off to college?
I think one thing we're all aware of is having this fear, but sometimes it feels daunting, like we can't really do anything about it, but that's not true. And I think that's what a lot of students don't realize, that by having these tools and knowing how to use them, whether you have your NightCap on your drink, you're being proactive. And if you have your pepper spray, you know how to use it. You're giving yourself the best chance of being able to get away. And 2, when it comes to target selection, unfortunately, as college students, as runners, all of these things make us easier targets in bad people's eyes. And so by having something that's preventative, again, like your NightCap or a Sidekick in your hand or your pepper spray in your hand, someone sees that and they're already identifying you as not an easy target. So just by having something, you actually might be less likely to need to use that item.
Yeah, I think that's so important, and bringing awareness to that. And especially at, the young age of going off to college, you probably, hopefully have not been in situations where you've been by yourself, feeling the way you feel when you're on your own for the first time, and not knowing too that you, at those age and in that environment in college campuses, you are more likely, that's more significantly more likely than any other time in your life to experience something like that, which I say not to scare people, but when you're aware of it, and then, to be aware of your surroundings or to carry pepper spray or whatever it is that you have that is your safety tool of choice, you can feel more confident too in yourself in those instances.
Well, let's say that we're going off to college where you said earlier, you're focused on making all these friends, it's not the first thing you think about, it's not your safety. How do you integrate both of those at once and bring up the topic of safety within your friend group without killing the vibe of, whatever's being talked about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so important to bring up. And I think there is a way to do it where you can make it empowering and like a confidence boosting, whether that be like, okay, y'all, what are we going to do if this guy that's super annoying won't leave us alone? Because everyone wants to have like that exit strategy and have friends that will back them up if they are uncomfortable. Because I think as women too, we're all about protecting each other and having a plan and putting that into action, then you're able to live your college life more freely. And also, like a lot of girls have been ordering practice sprays, and we can have like a PT poster and doing just little events where it's a new fun activity where they can go and practice in their college dorm rooms or in different sororities so they know how to use it. And it makes it fun. It makes it less scary than the topic normally is.
Yeah, there's so many people like events that happen on college campuses with, Safely is one of them sometimes, but there's other like female founded brands or whenever the college or the sorority or whatever group it is like prioritizing those events, taking action and like being the person to be like, hey, we should go check this out too. I mean, I feel like all women can understand the importance of it, and it can be fun to do like not by yourself too, so it's less intimidating.
Yeah, I love the idea of bringing that to your friend group and like almost making it an activity, especially with sororities. The sororities that are doing that are definitely steps ahead. Besides pepper spray, what else is in your guys' like personal safety toolbox? I was going to say other products or other pieces of advice that you have. It can be a combination of both.
Okay. Also, I was going to add something too to the last question because I think
Yeah,
it's
sure.
important. But something we found really fun to do with universities is self-care and self-defense events. And when we started rolling these out at UT's campus, it's not just self-defense, right? Like you can bring it up with your friends in a self-care way and then also do face masks, do other fun things. And that's really like the full package. And we started doing the events and eventually like the last event we had the slots filled up within 10 minutes. So people love these events. They're fun and you can make them fun too. You can host them on your own.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Tell us more beyond pepper spray. If there are any safety products or safety tips that you have beyond pepper spray that are in your like personal safety kind of toolbox.
Yeah, I think your biggest asset, especially as a woman, is your intuition. So trusting your gut, that is going to help you more than the safety tool will. Not in the sense that the safety tool is not going to work, but you're more than likely, hopefully, not going to need the safety tool if you have it. Especially if you're carrying it confidently and you have that gut instinct. The whole point of having it is that you're less of a target and you won't have to use it, but you can also exude that confidence, trust your gut, know that you don't need to second guess yourself. Women oftentimes, like whenever you've talked to somebody who is a survivor, they think back and they're like, I had this feeling that I should have turned around or I shouldn't have gone here. And you tell yourself that you're crazy or like you're just overthinking, which women are so likely to do. And if you trust your gut and nothing happens, that's like the best case scenario. So just always make sure that you are following your gut instinct, and that's your superpower.
That is such a important message for people, especially women. Like we have such a strong feeling. I feel like I make so many decisions based off my intuition, like throughout my personal life, my business. I literally will just sit with myself and like close my eyes and breathe and be like, does that feel right? And I'll get the answer. And even more recently, I've been more into this of just being able to kind of relax because I feel like we're on go mode so much where when you're doing so much, it's kind of harder to hear your intuition. And when you're in a state of just like almost quietness and you can hear your own thoughts more, you're more in tune with like, the right decisions to make. It's a really special superpower that we have as women. So I wish that I feel like I tapped into that more. Like I feel like I knew that, I guess in college as well. But how do you think that students should think about like setting up their phone or, like should they be sharing their locations with their friends? Are there apps that they should download when, going off to campus for back to school?
Yeah, I think all of that's so important, and it comes down to layered protection too. Like as many layers of protection you can have, right? The more protected you are, and depending on the situation, you might have a tool that's an app that you can use and access. And our newest sidekick, the SOS version with Invisaware, actually has, your pepper spray, your flashlight, your alarm, and then under the grip, you can double click and it contacts emergency services and trusted contacts too. So if you have your mom, your dad, some close friends, it will share your location with them as well. So it's a very powerful tool to have with you. But in addition to SOS Sidekick, I always say like share your location with the friends you trust and have each other's back. But also like when you think of other apps on your phone, maybe as simple as Uber or Lyft, when you get in with somebody you don't know, have your safety tool out in your lap with you. The most frightening Uber rides I had were in college, especially after going out at night. And I'd also just be very, very careful what information you share with them, because even though they have limited information when they pick you up, they have a photo of what you look like most of the time. They have your name and they know the general area you live in, so they can easily find you. So just be very, very careful. And when you're talking to somebody, you could always say, I'm visiting a friend at this college campus. You don't have to say you go to UT or wherever they're dropping you off, just as a layer of protection, because you really don't know them at the end of the day and they don't need to know much about you.
Yeah, it's such a good point. I use this even when I'm on vacation at hotels. I cannot stand when the receptionist says, "What's your room number?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna write it down." I
Yeah.
always ask, like, "Can I write it down when I'm at the front desk?" Or even when I'm like ordering something at the bar, at the pool or something, I'm like, "Can I write it down?" It's then they're like, "What?" They're taken back by it because people typically just say it. So you never know who's listening also, which is, oh, that's so scary. I'm freaking myself out now. But it's such a good point. Like, yeah, I mean, your dorm is, right? Like, even if you were to just be like, oh, I'm in this hall, like that now, someone knows where you live. So things that feel nonchalant, like aren't. So yeah, I think that's a great tip of just like visiting a friend is such an easy way out and practical tool to use. So we're going to wrap it up with like one more thing. It's kind of just like a general, you guys have shared like so much like safety tips already, but if you could leave a student with like one, word or sentence of either safety or empowerment before college, or, something along those lines, I guess for each of you, which one or what would it be?
Trying to think what I would have told my younger self. And the thing that always comes to mind for me, that especially throughout Safely, but even before Safely and before I met Ashley, it's just the number of women that I know that have experienced something, whether, I mean, the range is very large, even just feeling unsafe walking home alone at night, or, getting catcalled. Like, it's a universal experience for women, essentially. I mean, I believe that. I'm not sure every single woman in the world would admit that, but I know a lot would. And just knowing that you're not alone, and there's a common understanding among women that you have people, even strangers, that you can naturally connect with over that. So if you are ever in a situation that you're feeling like you are alone, you are not. We're people like us out here trying to fix that problem, but also people that are living their own lives, working different jobs, not with safety companies, that are also there for you too.
Oh, I love that.
I think on that note too, like if anything ever does happen, it's never your fault, no matter what the situation was. So just be really, really graceful with yourself. And again, hopefully nothing ever does happen. And then I know too, the statistics can be really daunting, that when you're in college, an event is 3 times more likely to happen than any other time in your life. And there is something we can do about those statistics. We can't necessarily change the mind of bad people out there. But by taking charge of our own safety and taking charge of your safety, you are able to fight back.
Well, thank you guys so much. This was super, super amazing and helpful. And I think that, there will be a college girl or a boy that sees this and, acts differently or feels differently. So just appreciate you guys always. And thanks for all of your wisdom.
Thank you.
Where can we find you also?
Livesafely.co and Safely Self-Defense for all the Instagram social media.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you guys. You're the best.
Thank you.